All right. Today we're going over one of my favorite scriptures, Matthew 25. Still in Matthew 25. After our last one about the 10 virgins, we're just a few verses after that. And this is my favorite. And I think when it comes down to applying what Jesus has taught us into our lives and really making that change, Jesus has taught so many things, so many great lessons about love, loving your neighbor, so much about what we should be doing and how we should changing how we look at the gospel. I think this is my favorite verses because I think it gives like a concrete do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is what I mean by loving your neighbor. This is what I mean by filling your lamp with oil. This is what I mean, doing stuff like this. Matthew 25:34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So, King God saying, come in here. You've made it. You're in heaven. Whatever, you've arrived. And then he said, 35, For I was hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, a little confused here, like, I don't remember seeing you in my lifetime. I didn't see you sick or in prison. Like, what are you talking about? So the righteous will say, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger? Like, when did all this stuff happen? I don't remember. Best verse 25:40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. I think this is the crucial part where we take all those prayers, all the scripture study, all the keeping the Sabbath day holy, honoring your parents and everything, all that stuff, and we turn that and we refocus that from intellect, from the spirit, from our soul, who we are, and we convert that into actions, into the lives of others. These are the examples that Jesus gives us. I was hungry, and you fed me. Thirsty, gave me drink. Stranger, you took me in. Naked, you clothed me. Sick, you visited me. Prison, you came to me. These specific examples, and this is by no means, I feel, inclusive of everything that he would like us to do, right? This isn't all of it. These are just very good examples. Helping the hungry, helping the thirsty, helping the strangers, naked, sick, those in prison. And I think even in prison, I think you can take all these at face value for what they are. Someone was like physically hungry and you gave them food, but maybe someone's spiritually hungry. Maybe someone's emotionally thirsty. Maybe someone's a stranger, but they're not from a foreign land. Maybe they live next door and they're a stranger. Maybe they don't have friends. Maybe, they're an outcast or something and you reached out to them. Maybe they're not naked clothes-wise. I think most people today have access to clothes, but maybe they're naked spiritually. Maybe they're naked in a different part of their life or emotionally or some other way that they feel exposed to the world. Prison. And maybe prison's not like in the county, state, federal jail or whatever. Maybe that also means that they are in some type of prison. Maybe they're just in an emotional prison. Maybe they're in a prison in their own mind, in their own head, whatever that may be, or a real prison, a real jail. I don't know. It could be so many things. At face value, Jesus is telling us who to reach out to. We can look at that in our own situations and expand that out to how we help so many different other people. That is the key. And I love that so many teachings about what we should do in the scriptures, feed my sheep, a lot of that stuff. So we kind of get an idea of how to enact these things. These verses I love because it tells us exactly what we need to be doing. And we usually stop reading there. Those next 5 verses kind of say the same thing. If you're on, the king is saying, if you're on my left hand, you are not coming into heaven because you did not. I was hungered and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, you gave me no drink. Stranger, and you took me not in. So then the next 5 verses, which is clever. I think Matthew does a lot of work to show us what we need to do. And another few verses on flipping that around and saying, why aren't we getting into heaven? Why am I going into an everlasting fire? And then he tells us, because you didn't do those things. So those next 5 verses are the opposite. I try and in my daily prayers and thoughts, I pray for opportunities to feed the hungry and the thirsty and prison and naked. And these are things I pray for, because if I can choose now whether I am going to go to inherit the kingdom that God has prepared from the foundation of the world, or I can be cursed into everlasting fire prepared by the devil and his angels. You know what I'm taking? I'd rather go with God and Jesus. So I think, if whatever my actions are, this is what matters. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is it. Am I helping? Am I feeding people? Am I feeding people physically hungry, spiritually hungry? Am I doing this? Am I helping people get out of prison? Am I helping them learn about Jesus? Am I doing these things? These are the exact key that he's giving us of things we can do. And I love it. And I encourage everyone in your own lives to take a look at these verses. Am I doing these things? Am I doing these 6 things? 5? Hungry, thirsty. I'm sorry. 5 things? Am I doing these 5 things? Am I seeking out people who are sick? Am I trying to do this? That'd be 6 things. Am I doing this? Am I trying to help people break out of prison? I'm not saying prison break, jail break, but in the whatever prison they might be in their own lives. Are we helping people become more free? Are we feeding them? I love it. I love it. I love that we don't have to guess. We don't have to guess what that might look like in our life. Jesus is saying, do this. And then you'll be getting into heaven. Sweet, huh?